Good morning, friends. It is me, your sort of favorite vlogger slash YouTuber slash person that exists. Anyway, I am on my way to the airport. It's very snowy and wintry here in Texas right now, so probably the worst day of the year to try to travel, but we're gonna get there eventually. I did tack on an extra day to my travel on the front end, which ended up being a pretty good idea considering everything that's going on right now. We did get about 1.5 inches of snow last night over here in the northeast of San Antonio. Overall as a city, we got just under 1 inch average. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting night last night. It's quite cold. I'm all bundled up, but then I'm going to New York where it's going to be even colder, so hooray for that. Carlos is with me, but he's not traveling with me. He's just my, ride this morning. We're running quite late because my flight's delayed, and I didn't know how to balance getting there close to on time versus the fact that it's 2 hours delayed and how that all works. So we'll find out when we get there. I like to be there an hour before I board normally. But in this case, I'm going to be there 3 hours before I board. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe find a bar, have some drinks, you know how I do, and just kind of wait things out. But as I said, I do have a whole extra day to get there. So assuming nothing crazy happens in the next 48 hours, I should be able to board the ship the day after tomorrow without issue. So yeah, that's what's up. I'll update you as things actually occur. Right now, it's just, in the car on our way to the place of the thing and all that. But anything you have to add, Carlos?
Nope.
Nope. He's the best driver for sure. I would have had to walk without him. So anyway, but let's go do stuff. We'll talk soon. About 10 minutes later, Carlos dropped me off at the airport. My flight departure time moved back and forth a little bit, but ultimately I left about 2.5 hours after I was expecting to. So naturally, I had a beer and grabbed some lunch and all of that, which, as most of you probably know, is always overpriced and mediocre at best. But before long, I was boarding my Southwest plane to LaGuardia Airport. I did end up getting an emergency exit row, so it's always nice to have the extra leg room, especially on a long flight like that. And a couple of hours later, we landed in New York, and getting off the plane, I was greeted by LaGuardia's famous fountain, and then from there I followed the signs to the baggage claim and grabbed my luggage and then made my way out to the Uber Lyft pickup area. And within a couple of minutes I was on my way down to my hotel in the financial district. It was pretty late at this point, so I just decided to call it a night. Alright y'all, I'm here in my really tiny room at the Madison LES Hotel in the financial district. I'm about a mile from the ferry terminal that's going to take me over to Red Hook to board the ship in the morning. So that's why I'm staying over here. I've never stayed down here in the financial district, so I'm kind of having to learn, what's around. And if I was up at Times Square and stuff where I normally stay, there are a few restaurants up there that I've, become accustomed to going to. But I'm gonna try some new things this time and see what's up. Also, pardon the fact that my lips are chapped. It's very cold and dry here. I've got some chapstick I'm gonna apply before I head out. But yeah, so I'm gonna learn some new spots in this area. It's also restaurant week, so that's kind of a lucky coincidence. A lot of great restaurants have good stuff on offer, like multi-course meals and stuff. For lunch, it's 2 courses for the most part from what I've seen, and 3 courses for dinner. All for under $100. The lunches are even, cheaper, obviously. Anything from casual eateries all the way up to Michelin star, restaurants, etc. I'm not gonna want to get super dressed up, so I looked up a casual spot that is walkable from here, and I'm gonna go check that out. It's called Stout. I think there's multiple locations in Manhattan and around the boroughs and stuff, but that's the closest one to me, so I'm gonna go check it out. They have a $30 2-course lunch that includes a beer as well, so seems like a pretty good deal, and we'll see how I feel about that. I'll take pictures and all of the usual stuff. And then nearby there is a bar that is known for having a good happy hour, so yeah, timing should be perfect for that as well. So yeah, let's go do stuff. I'll of course take you with me. We'll see what we see, we'll do what we do, and we'll talk soon. So I left the hotel and walked over to Stout. It was about a 15-minute walk, which wasn't terrible, and as the name suggests, it was a lot more bar than restaurant. But I priced out the restaurant week deal, and if I had ordered everything separately, it would have cost me about $9 more, so basically I got the beer for free. And the food was pretty good. I got plenty full. I got some dumplings and a shepherd's pie, and then I did go over to the other bar for happy hour, but don't have any pictures or footage of that at all. And then I made my way back to the hotel to call it a night. Good morning, friends. I am in my hotel bathroom. I'm getting dressed and ready to leave to head over to the ferry terminal to catch the ferry across to get on board MSC MERAVIGLIA. So it's cruise day. I'm ready to go. Definitely enjoyed my couple of days in New York, but it's time to go somewhere warmer. So let's go do it. Alright y'all, so I am on board MSC MERAVIGLIA. This is probably like my 8th or 9th time on this ship. This is the first cruise ship I was ever on back in 2021 or whatever. And so I have sort of a tradition where I go on it at least once every year. And so this is my one and only time scheduled for 2025. And we're getting it done, you know, first thing and all of that. But yeah, embarkation was smooth. It was crowded, it was busy. But it took me about 40 minutes to get through the security and checked in and, you know, then walking up the gangway, etc. So it wasn't horrible. Not the fastest embarkation I've ever had, but not the slowest either, you know, kind of in the middle. And yeah, relatively smooth process as well. So I've been on board for maybe about an hour and I'm in my room and it's all ready for me. And, you know, the key card was at the door and all of that. And now I'm going to go activate my onboard account, link my credit card to that, and then explore the ship a little bit, see what the vibe is like, all of that, try to find a bartender who's, you know, going to be my go-to, hopefully the rest of the cruise. It's a 10 night, so it's, you know, quite a long journey, and I'm excited to be back on board Lady Marvel out of New York. And we're going to Puerto Plata, Puerto Rico, San Juan, and St. Martin and St. Thomas. And St. Martin and St. Thomas are ports I've never been to, so this will be, you know, new territory for me, which is good. You know, sometimes the ports and stuff get repetitive, so it's nice to have a couple that I've never experienced before, and I'll let you know how those go and all of that. So anyway, let's go do stuff. We'll talk soon. At this point, I made my way down to the pub. I always liked the vibe in there on other sailings, so naturally that seemed like a good place to start. And as you can see, it was pretty hopping and popping in there, and I had a couple of rounds of beer and just sort of hung out, but soon it was time for the safety drill, so I made my way back up to my room.
Emergency procedures, safety procedures, and the mandatory safety drill comply with SOLAS, the International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea.
After you confirm that you've watched the safety video in your cabin, they call you by deck number to go to your muster station and check in. And once you're done with that, you yourself are done with the safety briefing, but they don't resume services on board until everybody is completed with that. But after that, they did have the sail away party on the promenade. It was way too cold to do it outside. But yeah, once that was all said and done, I made my way back over to the pub to have another beer. They had Dos Equis on draft, and the last couple of times I've been on MSC where they've had Dos Equis, it hasn't been tapped, but I'm happy to report it was tapped the full time I was on MSC MERAVIGLIA this time around. And then after hanging out and vibing and all that, I made my way back down to my room. All right, just a quick update. It's about 5 p.m. My dinner is at 7:15. I am going to go to the dining room tonight, see who I get sat with, and if there's, you know, any fun and games with that. That's usually how I make friends on board. Like, for example, there's been several cruises in the past, like Carnival of Venezia comes to mind, where all of my friends that I hung out with on board were at my table. The last couple of cruises has been kind of a little bit of a miss. So we'll see what the vibe is. But, you know, worth a shot, see who's around, and we'll go from there. I'm going to go up to the pool deck right now. We're getting ready to leave, so it might be an opportunity to like see the Statue of Liberty and stuff on the way by. It's very cold though, so I have to bundle up. I'm already wearing a knit sweater, but I'm going to put on my coat and bring my beanie and all of that and get bundled up and see what the vibe is up there. No promises on the footage of like us leaving the harbor. I might get too cold and come back, you know, down into the inside of the ship or whatever, but we'll see what we see and do what we do. And we'll talk soon. Before dinner, I did go up to the pool deck for a little bit and had a couple of drinks at the pool bar there. It was very cold, so I didn't stay long, but I did meet a wonderful British couple who jokingly became my parents the rest of the cruise, which was a thing. The Sky Lounge ended up being my main watering hole. It was definitely more loungy and jazzy than a lot of the other venues, but that's where they had the LGBTQ mixer, so that's why I ended up going in there all the time. And after that, I made my way out to the Horizon Bar, which is the nightclub on board MSC MERAVIGLIA. Strangely, from the Sky Lounge, you have to walk through the kids area to get over there, which is kind of weird. But anyway, I hung out there for quite a while. It was just me and a couple of other people because it was freezing out there, but after a while, I made my way back down to my room. Hi there, friends. So that's a wrap. It is the next morning. I'm getting ready for, starting day 2 of this adventure, but I wanted to close out, the vlog for yesterday and whatever. Pretty good first day. I ended up staying out way later than I thought I would. That's why I'm finishing it this morning. I got pretty drunk as well. As you know, I do sometimes. Yeah, so good vibe. Met some people. We'll see who's around to mingle with and stuff. I did do the LGBTQ thing. I left dinner early. So that's why I only have those 2 appetizers I think I showed you earlier. And yeah, I'm not sure what I got of the evening festivities. Probably not a whole lot. But I'll fill it in as best as I can, and you've already seen all that now, whatever I decided to do with that. And yeah, so sea day today, so the next installment will begin with me going to get some lunch and starting the day, and all of that. But for today's vlog, I want to thank you all so much for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.